Okay, let's start. Om Sadashiva Samarambham Shankaracharya Madhyamam Asmadacharya Paryantam Vande Guru Paramparam. Om Sahana Bhavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Saha Viryankaravavahai Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. So I will begin with the question that was asked. Okay. The word for thief in Rudram is stenaha. You also see this word in the Bhagavad Gita. So it's nice to, or it's easy to relate to Bhagavan when he's kind and benevolent and loving and dharma based and all the good and the nice things of life. But how is Bhagavan being referred to as the Lord of the thieves? Almost like he's the mastermind of the mafia, you know. So he's truly the godfather. So not only the local godfather, but he is the godfather and he's being praised for it. And such glory, you know. So how is that possible? Now, before we look at that, we look at what is sadhya. Okay, in Kerala and Tamil, I think food is referred to as sadhya or sadhya or something like that. Okay, so one of those words. Maybe I'm not getting it right.
Sadhya from
So, but here, sadhya. Okay, so here we are talking about sadhya. Okay, sadhya is the goal to be reached. The sadhya could be even the food on the plate, be a particular destination. Basically, any goal is the sadhya, the goal. And to reach the goal, there can be many sadhanas, many means, many ways to get there. And what is the nature of the sadhya has to be known before we look at what are the ways to get there. First of all, is the goal really worth my time and effort? Any goal, you know, suppose if it's a destination. And what is the best way to get there? We look at. You know, if you take an Uber or for that matter, any of these vehicles. So suppose if you want to pick up somebody on the way or you want to take a detour, then the cab driver will tell you that no, the company has decided this is the route we will follow. So they are not interested in taking any detours because this is the best route, the most cost-effective route, and the fastest route. So that's his principal logic. It works for the company. And of course, it works for the consumers as well. Now, one of the aspects about the sadhya here, in our case, the sadhya being moksha, one of the aspects about it is sarvatma bhava. Okay, what does that mean? Sarvatma meaning the atma of sarvaha, of all without any exclusion. So, Sarvatma includes Muslims? Yes. Sarvatma includes terrorists? Yes. Sarvatma includes that neighbor I cannot stand? Yes. Of course, it includes all the goody and the nice things of life. Sarvatma includes global warming? Yes. It includes plastic? Yes. So, most of the issues that we have with certain people, it includes everything. And Ishwara, being the karma phala data, okay, understand this well. Being the karma phala data, being the giver of the karma phala, dharma is included in the laws. In the law of karma, the other word for karma is dharma. You don't do dharma, okay? I mean, we may say that okay, you do your swadharma, etc. But really speaking, you don't do dharma. You do karma. That is in line with dharma. So, karma phala data Ishwara. If I act in a way that upholds dharma, I get some results. If I act in a way that does not uphold dharma, I also get results. If I put my finger in the fire, I don't have an option. No, the fire can burn only little part of my finger. Some part of it should not burn. Or for me, the fire should turn cold. No, it is an impartial law. So, being the karma phala data, the karma that is done by human beings can either uphold dharma or need not uphold dharma. So it is adharmic. But does that mean that Ishwara propelled the person to go into adharma? No. By saying that he is the Lord of Thieves, am I painting him to be evil and bad? No. All that I am highlighting is the fact that I am able to see that all the laws because of which the thieves are able to rob, the irony of our of our times is that a minority, such a tiny minority of people, are holding the whole world hostage, okay, in terms of terrorism. And all our ingenious intelligence, will, etc., is not enough to take care of them. So some laws are, they are operating by some principles, some laws that either we have not been able to crack or there is not enough political will. Okay? But it's a matter of certain principles. There have been times in this whole world history that a minority has held hostage the majority. That's always how it works. But still, it has been possible for the majority to override. So if you look at India's freedom struggle, okay, without many arms, because the INA was not really supported as much. So this huge non-violent struggle, in many ways, the majority was able to take care and move ahead. Okay. So what I'm highlighting to you is that any adharmic action or crime operates according to a set of laws and principles. And we know that all principles are intelligent because there is a predictability about every principle and law. And that intelligence cannot rest anywhere else but in a conscious being. And that is Ishwara. And so therefore we have no problem in actually saying that Ishwara is the Lord of Thieves also. So I heard this Urdu couplet. What was it? सब कहते हैं मैं हराम हूं, लेकिन हराम के मालिक तू ही है. Okay. So it's an irreverent way of expressing that. I mean, I'm not going into too much analysis of it, and I don't even remember in what context I heard it. But the point is that all laws, all principles are Ishwara. And therefore, we can easily, we can effortlessly call Ishwara the Lord of Thieves. We can, of course, Lord of Angels and all the Apsaras and all the wonderful, nice things of the world, of course, But this is not a problem for us. Because otherwise, we are rejecting a part of Ishwara. A lot of people say, no, God is only love. And then, the problem with such a statement is that if something goes wrong in my life, the first thing to go off is my devotion to Ishwara. Because God was supposed to be fair and just. So why with me injustice happened? So this is Bal Thackeray. So very, very devoted. And then his wife, she could not be rushed to a hospital in time and she died. And then somebody known to Pujya Swamiji went to meet him to offer condolences. And he said that, Abhi, Didi, भगवान से मेरा विश्वास उठ गया है, अभी मेरा रिश्ता खत्म हो गया है. Why? Oh, because Bhagwan did not save my wife. Okay, see, that can be a hurt reaction. That's fine, not a problem. That's why we say, when you mourn totally. Don't pray. You're not expected to pray at all, because you may say certain things that you don't want to regret later. Because a lot of our statements come from a lot of hurt and grief. We're not even thinking when we talk many times. So in seeing myself, in seeing other people, in seeing this world as is, takes a lot of objectivity. Because we know we have our filters. And that is one of the sadhanas that is mentioned for the sadhya. That is Ishwara. That is you. I mean, the sadhya is really the reality of who I am. And therefore, certain sadhanas are mentioned. Okay, this text that we are going to be doing, Sadhana Panchakam, it's a very beautiful text. And like that, there are so many texts. Some of them are attributed to Shankara. This is also attributed to Shankaracharya. We are not very sure. But still, it doesn't take away its beauty. And, part of the reason I chose to do this text is to just remind ourselves of the infrastructure, the context, the setting that is required for our clarity. when whenever you if and when you are going suppose you are living in an ashram, let's say the course, okay, the course that's been designed by Pujya Swamiji, and perhaps the way it has been captured in the movie Gurukulam, I have not yet seen it, but what I hear that it's turned out like a nice film. When you live in a certain setup, a certain context, a certain setting, there is a certain infrastructure available to you, which may not be available to you in another context or setting. It could be anything, even if you go for a workshop, let's say, a workshop on your subject matter, whatever be your professional topic, and you go for intense learning, then you find that your mind is fully available for the subject matter. It's like how we did school and college. Okay, primary thing was to get education. So I'm not going into the quality of our education and all that and all that. Okay, so that was the primary thing, and then everything else followed. But a certain context, right from wearing the school uniform, there's a reason for it. The amount of time that a class would last, there's a reason for that. you know or if you are asked to write something 10 times, 15 times, there's a reason for that. So like that, there are many such things in the context and infrastructure of an ashram or a gurukulam that is geared towards the pursuit of moksha. I'm calling it pursuit because it is not evident to most people who join that it's not really a pursuit. Okay, that you are the sadhya. But initially, let's go with the fact that it is a pursuit. So this context and setting has to be conducive for it. Many people came to our ashram, to Anikatti, and they were shocked to see the amount of land, around the ashram. And they said, oh, so much can be done here. You can start one spa, you can do this, you can do that. And a lot of people would give ideas to Pujya Swamiji. And then he would say, but this is a Gurukulam. That the focus is study, full stop. Of course, a lot of things can be done. There's no question about it. Organic farming can be done. Ayurvedic garden can be done. So many things can be done. But everything, the whole infrastructure setting is all in service of the goal. And therefore, where we are, we want where we are to become our ashram. Okay. So I'm not asking you to do any renovation. Okay, you don't have to do any pipe or whatever, pipeline, no repairs, no nothing. So you how can your setting become an ashram? By the sadhana that you adopt. Then it doesn't matter you go to the ashram, you don't go to the ashram, it's okay. Because around you and you yourself, you are cultivating certain qualities that are conducive for the pursuit. See, when we are learning something, a lot has to do with our own willpower, but a lot has to do with inspiration. When we see other people, we get inspired or we try and imitate them. We apply certain principles. We sometimes see, okay, we learn a lot from other people's mistakes. there is a certain sense of community that is there. So here, my purpose of doing this sadhana panchakam is for you to have your ashram wherever you are, and you that all the sadhanas you are very, very clear about, and they work for you. Okay, so initially you work for it, you work to cultivate it, but in time the sadhana works for you to such an extent that it's no more required. That because you discover that you are the goal, and you were always the goal, you are the sadhya, really speaking. So this text, Sadhana Panchakam stands for 5. So 5 verses. Okay, 5. So like that, there are many different texts with different number of verses, and accordingly they are called. So like Sahasranama, Vishnu Sahasranama, 1,000. So like that, sometimes for the title of the text, the number of verses may be added. So this work, Sadhana Panchakam, also referred to as Sopana Panchakam. Sopana is a flight of steps. Okay, so flight of steps meaning that the text proceeds step by step. One step is mentioned, one sadhana is mentioned, and it almost lends itself to the next. So now this sadhana is obviously for mumukshus, and it is the sadhana, the means that really bridges the gap between the seeker, okay, or the sadhaka, and the sadhya. So there are some terms I'm introducing. You'll are probably familiar with it. Sadhana is the means, sadhya is the end, the goal. For whom? For the sadhaka. Or as you would say in Hindi, ye sadhak hai. Sadhak, the seeker loose translation. So the one who is involved with this sadhana, I'm not using the word discipline. I think means is okay, sadhana is okay. Now when the sadhya is reached, what is the word that we will use to refer to that person? It is a siddha. So you may have come across this word siddha purusha. Siddha meaning accomplished. Okay. Of course, related to that, there is siddha yoga, etc., etc. We are not going there. Siddha is the one who has reached or who has accomplished. And we also use the word siddhi for an accomplishment. Okay. But in the teaching of Vedanta, we don't use the word siddhi as much. We use the word sadhana. So now, what is the gap that is to be bridged between the seeker sadhaka and the sadhya? Is there a gap? The gap is one only of ignorance, only of avidya. Because I have this sense of inadequacy, of judgment of myself, judgment of others, and I cannot rest with it. I struggle with it. If it was, if I was okay with it, then no problem, but I'm always struggling with it. Any limits anybody puts on me, I rebel. Maybe passively or very actively, very aggressively, I rebel because I don't like limits. So it's most, when we see teenagers, they are a very nice embodiment of this. So they will want to oppose each and every limit that you will place on them. So curfew time onwards, and everything will be questioned. But then, as time goes by, So we get domesticated, you know. So domesticated means all the angst is gone. So now you're so exhausted, you just don't want to even rebel. तो ऐसा होता है, you know. So this sadhana, it is appropriate to what I want. The main sadhana for Vedanta is really jnanam. There's no other sadhana. Okay. Everything else, all that I said earlier in terms of the infrastructure and the setting and all of that is for cultivation of certain values, of certain understanding, so that you have your ashram wherever you go. You know, that's the whole objective. So we can look at the verse. Very nice and very simple. Okay. Vedo nityamadhiyatam. I'm not chanting the whole verse, just each sadhana, so to speak. Okay. Vedaha nityam adhiyatam. So Veda, our our body of knowledge that has been revealed by Bhagavan. What is to be done with it? It can be kept, of course, in a puja room. You know, a lot of people, they've never opened. You can worship the book. But here, what is being said is, no. It is to be looked into, it is to be studied, it is to be chanted, it is to be recited, right? Oh, but I don't know Sanskrit. Then what are you saying? So we have to understand what is being said here. Okay, the first teaching highlights the value of Veda in our life. And it's only the Hindu who will question, oh, but why should I study the Veda? You ask the Christian. Sunday school, mandatory. Okay, it's mandatory that as a part of your education, you have religious education. Or very proudly, the Muslims will say, yes, we do namaz 5 times a day. But the Hindu will question, oh, but why should I study the Veda? You know? So this is something for us to really, means the level of our ignorance is so high. And the amount of secularization is ridiculous. That people, but why the Veda? You know, the Christian or the Muslim does not question it. Okay, there may be other reasons for it, but it is considered a part of my living, my lifestyle. It's a part of my day. That I will do namaz or that I will go to Sunday school, chalo, once a week. If you ask some of the Hindus, what about, because now a lot of such places have opened up. Sanskar Kendra, Purna Vidya, different organizations have started classes for children once a week. And then you ask the parents, so is your child going for something like that? So you say, no, there's no time, because the child has to go for music class and dance class and gymnastics and then swimming and then science Olympiad and etc. etc. So the Hindu doesn't consider it necessary. Okay, are you doing stuff at home? Because it's not necessary you have to go to a class. Are you doing stuff at home? He watches Hanuman, the film. Is that enough? It was okay for us, then it is okay for the child as well. Okay. So anyway, sad story, sorry state of affairs with a lot of Hindus. I'm talking about the urban Hindus, okay, urban large. So why should I bother with the Veda? Because it is a means of knowledge. That is why. And lot of people will say, "Oh, I am not really religious, but I give to charities. I give to NGOs. Why? No, you get some punya. Hey, the concept of punya, the understanding of punya, where do you think that has come from? No, no, that's logical. It's not logical. It is from the Veda. Or if people are saying, "Arey, itna," even colloquial language, it will say, "Acha, itna paap mat karo, tum nark jaoge." Okay, now all this demonetization, people are looking for creative ways to dispose of their cash because only so much could be declared. So, acha, itna paap kiya, to abhi nark jaoge. So, but the understanding of nark or swarga, where has that come from? Veda. So, even if I'm not studying the Veda, it does get to me in some way or the other, or the mantras. So the secular version of transcendental meditation, people will say, okay, you don't know any mantra, you can chant the word nature, nature. But it works for people. They just take one word in English or any other language, and they will just, so repetition will help. Okay, so this mantra, the mantra, where does it come from? Because Veda is full of mantras. That's all that it is. So mantras are not just sounds, but it is teaching. And people think, Hindu, like Sanatana Dharma is only Ramayana, Mahabharata, majority, across India. But even there, you see a value for the Veda. There will be lot of references to um, to rishis or gurus or some knowledge. Of course, because largely it's dharma teachings, but still there are a lot of references. And here the first teaching is Vedo Nityam Adhiyata. So how often to recite it or study it? Uh, once a year maybe, like but no, but that also people won't do. Saraswati Puja also people don't do. So otherwise they will say, okay, at least for a lot of people they have musical instruments. So then, because we're so busy leading their lives, so there's no time to practice. So then it is the veena will be dusted only before Saraswati Puja. And then of course then it is kept at the altar, etc. So the Veda, is it to be done like that? No. Nityam. So Nityam here daily. And for us, the whole study mode has always been to recite, to chant, and to first have it here before we look at the meaning. Okay? So, like even for a lot of chanting classes, traditional chanting classes, or if you ever have gone to a Veda Pathshala, there is no book they are referring to. They just listen to the teacher and they repeat. And then there's so many times they repeat backwards, forwards, after one word, etc. And you will find that when you, even some of the verses you all have studied in the Gita, when you have that verse with you, and then when you are looking at the meaning, it makes a difference. Or if you are relating it, if you are relating what you're studying with, let's say, Karmanyevadhikaraste verse. Okay, there would have been a lot of explanation, lot of unfolding that may have gone into the verse. But at that time, you don't remember it. But that word, that the spuranam that happens, the meaning it reveals, is what stays with you. And that's what, you know, was a part of our, the way we studied. That the effort is not primarily to memorize. It's not, otherwise that can create too much anxiety. Because all of us complain that we are forgetting. Okay? Because we have smartphones now, so we are becoming very dumb. So everything, the smartphone is really smart. But we have delegated all our memory issues to the smartphone. So here we recited, we chanted. Now, what that does is, of course, you can chant and understand the meaning. But if you are chanting some shlokas, let's say, or you're chanting some mantra, at some point in time, suppose if we start that in school, at some point in time, the rebellious teenager will ask, what are we chanting? What is the meaning of this? And may get some curiosity. But that is not there only. Everything we want to translate into English. Some things have to be retained in Sanskrit. So this nityamadhiyatam, that only when there is little samskara of the Veda, that there is some value, there is some shraddha for this book of knowledge, this body of knowledge. Then only I want to relate to it, I want to see what it offers or something. So if I say that, karma, punya papa, swarga, all the homas that we do for all kinds of things, artha, kama, dharma, all that is from the Veda and it works. So, then thoda curiosity, okay. And as we have seen, that it serves everyone. So if I'm looking for artha, more security, Veda helps me. If I'm looking for lot of pleasure, not only on this earth, but hereafter, Swarga, Veda is there, available to me. Dharma too, I want to go to Swarga, I want special kind of loka. So there is gradation in the kind of vacation I want to have. That's also available. And of course, if I want to discover who I really am, then the Veda is available to me. So that's why dharma, athato dharma jignasa, primarily to be done. And the Taittiriya Upanishad, there is one very beautiful valedictory address. So some of the teaching has happened, and then there is, in a particular section, there is this valedictory address where it is said that may you not be indifferent to the Veda. So why? Because it's yours, it's yours, and we can become, like living in a city or just living in the times that we do, we have become very apathetic. We don't care about so many things. Something is happening in the neighbor's house, okay, it's none of my business. I'm not saying we need to interfere, but that apathy and that not caring enough, I think it's really become an epidemic. Because we're so obsessed with our own issues that doesn't matter. So Taittiriya says, Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyam na pramaditavyam. Pramaditavyam means don't be indifferent. It is not something to be indifferent to. And here, like when I look at the reverence that the Sikhs, the Sardars, they have for the Granth Sahib is very beautiful to see. Pandit, they don't know, but the way they revere it and the value given to gurus for them is very, very high. Or you look at how, even for that matter, the the Muslim or the Jew or the Catholic, the way they look at their respective books, okay, it's something to note that there is so much reverence and so much, they are so worshipful towards it. But the Hindu doesn't have that, because levels of ignorance are so high. And that it's not even that, okay, again I'm talking about the urban Hindu, and one doesn't even feel one is missing out on anything. It's very sad. So if you ask a person also, generally it happens if you go to the temple, especially in the south, if you go, they will say, oh, which gotra? People won't know. So which nakshatra? So they also, phone calls will be made to somebody who knows. So which Rashi? So which Veda? Nobody knows. But even some of the surnames, Dvivedi, Chaturvedi, Trivedi. So the one who knows, I knew one person like that who very proudly said that my surname is Trivedi, but I don't know even the names of the three Vedas. And he thought it was something to be very proud about. Somebody at work once upon a time. And he thought it was a joke. So even if you don't even know the names of the three Vedas, like what are we, what times are we living in? Anyway, the point is that this gift, this blessing, that is the Veda, because it is revealed by Bhagavan. That is why it is a blessing. May you read, may you recite, may you study daily. So what about us? We are looking, the fact that you are in touch with Vedanta really means that you are studying it daily. If you are in touch with the words of the Shastra, it means you are studying it daily. So that's what is to be done. Okay. Then if I'm just reciting, then I'll just be a walking, talking CD. No. Whatever has been written in the Veda, tad uditam tam. So may you put into your life whatever has been done. I mean, is written. Oh, but I don't know what is there. So no worries. All that is spoken about in terms of Samanya Dharma, Vishesha Dharma, may you follow it. May you do your karma in line with that. A lot of people ask, oh, but what is my Swadharma? So now the age and stage of life that you are in can be one parameter for you to decide. So your ashrama dharma, a lot of newly married men and women, they have to be reminded that you are married now, because they behave like single people. So like bachelors, or so earlier, like boys night out, I don't have to ask anybody, but now I have to ask somebody. Or the girls who are having a girls night out. So earlier, many girls night outs during the week. Now the ashrama. So ashrama meaning the stage of life that you are in. Hey, you are now together. So please, whether you want to inform, you want to consult, you want to advise, you figure out what you need to do. But what I'm saying is, every stage of life has a certain script that is to be followed. So if one is 75 years old and then you are running about doing this, doing that, etc., and everything, but all that you did know in your grahastha stage. So much running around this, that, the other, and you are advising, you're giving unsolicited advice to your children about how to lead their life. Okay. So why? Because I want to feel productive. Because nobody listens to my advice. When I say to bal safed nahi kiye hai, etc., etc. So I have my logic also. So you have to ask me, or I will run your life for you. So just basic common sense in terms of the age and stage of life. May you do karma in line with that. The varnashrama dharma, in many ways has collapsed. But to the extent that we are able to follow, depending on which varna I belong to, so whether I am a Brahmin or a Kshatriya or a Vaishya, I try and do karma in line with that. Because so much of knowledge is passed on from generation to generation through the families. So much. And so much is lost because people belonging to certain varnas, jatis, they totally changed what they were doing. So much knowledge is lost. Okay. So anyway, so depending on the varna, depending on the ashrama, in terms of stage of life, age also, do what is appropriate. And in that context, Nitya karma, in terms of me relating to Ishwara, it has to be done. It is not open to choice. Should I do, should I not do? What you do is open to choice. How you do, because in karma there are always alternatives. But should I do puja, should I not do puja, nitya puja? It is not. It's actually speaking, it's not open to choice. Why? Because because uh, because the goal for me is moksha, and therefore doing puja or this pancha mahayajna, deva yajna, pitra yajna, bhuta yajna, so brahma yajna, all to be done. So I'm very happy that at least for to educate our Hindus, so Modi ji highlighted that in terms of our commitment to the environment. Where he said Paris or no Paris, that we have to leave this world a better place for the next generation. It's got nothing to do with what one country said or one president said or whatever it is. Because it is all coming from Bhuta Yajna. Obsessed only with Manushya Yajna. Oh, what I'm doing with this one and that one and everything. Hey, but all these other, so many forces, so many relationships that exist in my life, which I do not acknowledge, but which make me who I am and make me flourish where I am. So all this we have spoken about it earlier, so I'm not elaborating too much. But this Pancha Mahayajna, my my contribution, my relating to all the devatas, to the people, to all the beings, plants and animals, to the environment, to the pitras. Oh, but they are dead and gone. No, but karma is to be done at least once a year, if nothing else. And Rishi Yajna. So, Rishi Yajna in the form of uh, Vedo Nityam Adhiyatam. See, the interesting thing is, the rishis did not say, please, please remember me. Okay. So I will be very happy you please remember me. No, it's not, oh, my legacy, my will. So may my name be perpetuated across eternity. That you treat this body of knowledge with some reverence, starting reverence, so that you allow it to flow in your life, that you can be a channel for this wisdom. See, even in our Sanatana Dharma, one beauty about it is that there's no central organization. So, or the reverence to the various rishis is not because of any position they held or some cattle they had. Cattle meaning cattle is wealth, or the gold they had. The reverence is only because they have been channels of this knowledge. They have been channels of wisdom. They've not interfered. And the different ways in which one can do uh, seva, but here I would prefer to use the word karma. See, because when we use the word seva, it is optional. I say, I don't want to do seva. Hey, this is not seva, this is karma. It is to be done. So depending on where I am, and yatha shakti, what I can do, pancha mahayajna for a Hindu is to be done. Karma. And it's not it's just even if you say, oh, I don't have so much reverence for Veda, but it's just common sense. My equations with all these 5 sets of beings, it is just common sense that I keep it going for myself for sure and for the next generations. So now, okay, karma to be done. So my God, I can get really anxious about it. So much karma to be done, but I did not do so much karma in my life. My goodness. And now this Veda is to be chanted and studied and so much karma to be done. Oh God, I'm getting a complex. No, don't worry. Because tene shasya vidhiyatam apachitihi. So tena from that shabda. So, tena meaning, whenever pronoun is being used, we have to see, oh, what was the noun before that? So what was before was karma was spoken about. So tena, ishasya, that tena meaning karmena. So but with karma, for this ishasya, for Ishwara, may puja be done. Apachitihi is puja or worship. May puja be done. So what kind of puja? The main puja to be done is really through your karma. That's the puja. And any given situation that I am facing in life is Ishwara. I'm not only saying punya papa, okay? I am saying every situation that comes before me is Ishwara. So I have to respond now. How? With my karma. Of course, I can run away also. Like most of us, we avoid doing whatever we need to do. And, Puja Swamiji would remind us very often that our laundry is Ishwara. Okay. So like in the ashram, we would wash our own clothes most of the, I mean, yeah, I think almost everybody would wash their clothes. Some people would wash it every day, and some people would pile up. Okay. And so you can imagine if you pile up your laundry and there is no washing machine and you have to wash your clothes, it's not something that you are really looking forward to. You can't even say, you know what, let me listen to a class or something and do my laundry. Because the noise of the water and everything is so much, you can't do that. And anyway, Shravanam is not to be done as a, as we, like a multitasking thing. Even if you are listening to an audio or a video, you just have to sit like you are in a class and then just do that. If you think, no, I am a great multitasker, so I will jog and I will listen, I will walk and I will listen, I will drive and I will listen. Okay, okay, but not the most preferable. Okay, because you have to be fully available, and you may say, oh, I effortlessly drive and everything. Okay, you can say all that, but first preference, sit, listen. That's it. So, Puja Swamiji would remind us very nicely that your laundry is also Ishwara, meaning anything that you want to avoid definitely is Ishwara. And so, the karma that you need to perform according to your age and stage in life, according to Samanya Dharma, according to Vishesha Dharma, it is to be done. It's not to be run away from. Maybe you will run away from it for some time, but you have to come back to it. And this puja, there's another meaning for apachitihi, which means atonement. Okay. So atonement meaning because knowingly or unknowingly, we end up doing a lot of harm. You know, one of the it's not an irony, but something that approaches that. I think for a lot of us as sannyasis, we have caused a lot of hurt to our parents. Okay, because no parents are going to tell you, yes, very good, go, go and take sannyasa. Nobody. I mean, I have heard only of two sets of parents of so many sannyasis, including Shankara. Okay, if you were to include Shankara's mother. So in a strange way, we're taking the vow of ahimsa. Okay, but to take that vow of ahimsa, we have caused himsa. We have caused a lot of hurt. Okay, an example. But I mean, I find it very interesting that we have gone through that route, most of the sannyasis. Okay, so like honestly, we don't really have much right. When we start to talk to people that, oh, don't cause himsa verbally, this that, we will say it. Because it's just a matter of degree, just a matter of degree. And the fact that we live, we do cause some himsa. We cannot avoid it. So this samanya dharma that has to be upheld, may you do that. And in all the karma that you do, tena ishasya, apachitihi, may you do this puja. So it doesn't matter if you don't know how to do puja, because your karma is puja. That's what is to be done. And in the whole act of Ishwara Arpana Buddhi, I see my contribution. I don't judge it too much. So we have to always remind ourselves of the squirrel who was helping to build Rama Setu. So with those little pebbles or grains of sand, he never thought his work was less. Never. Given his size, given what he is capable of doing, he kept doing. Other people, I mean the Vanaras, they did laugh at him, but they did not matter. Because he is very clear about what he needs to do. And then of course he gets patted on the back as well by Sri Rama. So it's a very beautiful incident for us to remember, that never think less of what you do. Never think less. It could be, whatever you are doing. But of course, think about what you are doing and think of how you can step it up. A lot of people, when they come for, for Vedanta classes, they think that they have to give up a lot of karma. No, not at all. In fact, do more karma. Okay. But the attitude with which you do it, that's what needs to be changed. And bring everything in line with your priorities. Too many irons in the fire. And you're doing it only to please some other people. Or, some strange motivations are there for us to do what we do. And there are a lot of time wasters. Then become more ruthless with your time. I'm using the word ruthless. I'm very ruthless with my time. I guard it very preciously. I have actually. Because that is a resource that once gone, it's gone. It will never come back. Never. And so you want to make the most of the time that you have. Wealth can be earned. Wealth will go, it can be re-earned. But time once gone is gone. And so in the time that one has, make karma be done. And lest I become a karmatha, that karma to be done, may it all be an offering to Ishwara. That to this grand symphony of this life, just as the sun is contributing and all the other devatas are contributing, the squirrel is contributing, the bacteria, the good bacteria in my stomach is contributing, so I don't need to take probiotics, or it's still working. Everybody is doing their bit. I also do my bit as an offering to Ishwara. Now when I'm doing all this karma, I have a lot of desires. So what shall we do about that? Because my desires just don't end. So what to do about that, we shall see in the next class. Okay. Om Purnamadav Purnamidam Purnat Purnamudachyate Purnasya Purnamadaya Purnamevavashishyate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Harihi Om Shri Gurubhyo Namaha. Harihi Om.